it's officially the time of year where we're like, I wish I had more trades, but unfortunately, a month to go, and almost none of us have enough trades left for the back half of this year, considering how the ladder's shaping up and the injuries that keep on coming, and the players that are starting to underperform that we weren't really expecting. So 963 for me last week. Actually went back up a bit. I was pretty happy with that, but not happy with everybody in my team. So I bought in Dane Gaga. He lost goal kicking. Didn't do well against Panthers. I it was always going to be a tough matchup. I was just hoping he'd do a little bit better than that, but no goals hurt as well. And now he's back at centre, so he's kind of a bust. He'll still probably score okay, but he's no longer in that gun bracket, unfortunately. In my opinion, Carraz still at fullback, but Connor Tracy's on the return, and potential that he goes back to his wing spot and everything's all good. Fogarty back to back low scores. An interesting one there. Angus Crichton still. It's interesting because the Roosters look pretty decent, but certain players aren't getting the ball compared to their strike weapons of Tupou and Nawa finally had a return to form, except it was a barely a return to form. 40 with 3 tries. Yuck. That's kind of crazy. And Lachlan Galvin, kind of a busted hand, and yeah, I wouldn't recommend him as a buy now. So there's a lot of things going on with this team at the moment. I haven't even mentioned Aaron Clark putting out his first low score in ages yet, but I only have a few trades left. At the moment, it looks like Isaiah Yeo's not contacts training, so he might even be another couple of weeks away and be worth a trade out. With the Panthers now in fourth, the Warriors have bombed the opportunity to stay top four. I think there's a very high chance that he and Cleary look to get rests now, and so, does he become a trade out option? I think he genuinely still is at this point. For me, I locked and loaded these trades pretty early. Oh, no, I didn't. I'm just imagining things at this point. But yeah, 2 left. Last week, I who did I get last week? Imagining. Oh, 2 last week. Gagai and Munster. 2 good trade-ins, but also actually not 2 good trade-ins. One was very good, one was pretty rubbish, but potentially still all right. So 211k, 2 trades left. That's actually not super. That's actually relatively typical. If we go into the yet another fantasy stats site, average trades left in the top 1,000 is 2 basically. It's tough out there at the moment. Look at this as well. 6 trades left and is ranked 3. That's got to be high chance to take it out. Good lead from first, but we will see how that goes. A lot of players on 0. A lot of players starting to creep up. More than half having 2 or less. So if you're in that bracket of more than 2, even 4, you're well up on the pack. So good for you. Yeah, for me, there's just, with a month to go, is there really enough wrong for me to actually move around things? So no Yo, no Fogarty this week. And that probably means I play Nawa and Galvin again. I don't know if that's really great. I don't really love that. Potentially, though, there are some other options. I mean, Adam Dewey's there. Actually, he's probably worth talking about. He's probably one of the best ones to talk about this week. He is named in the 7. He is really fantastic when he plays in the halves and gets a big kick meter share because he kicks goals as well. He's been a historical easy 50 average there, but he's hit a few big scores now and is priced at that. Do you want to jump on that? I think it's a good shout. With his runner home as well, it's pretty good. Let me just bring up Adam Dewey. So Adam Dewey, average at halfback. We'll even just look at 5/8 this last year or so. Oh, 56 last week. Nothing. Halfback thing here. And there you go, 60 average. And in the past, in that big kicking, big goal halves, big attacking role with his hands on the ball, he's historically done pretty well. Bit injury affected, but that's what we know Adam Dewey can do. And I think he's a strong option. I think he's quite good. Finu's back to the bench for a couple of weeks in a row now. I think that might indicate that's the strategy going forwards, at least for the back end of this year, and then they'll figure it out next year. But I don't mind Adam Dewey. There are a couple of backline options though that are of interest. If you don't have Tedesco, well, bro, 635k. What are you doing? Get him in. Get him in. Sad you missed out if you didn't have him, but it's just time. Two others though. One Reese Walsh, 573k, 28 on the weekend. That was a bit of a rough one, but let's have a look at some Reese Walsh stats. Reese Walsh, when there is, I don't know if it'll show much this year, but when there's no Reynolds, 2024, and we take out the injury game, 60 average basically. He was super involved, kicking a decent chunk, he picked up goals, lots of attacking involvement. He's kind of like Cameron Munster and Ryan Pappenhausen and Harry Grant without shoes. He just involvement just goes up and up. So I do think that there is serious opportunity now for Reece Walsh to take over the mantle of the lead attacker in this team, because you've got no Mam, you've got no Reynolds, and you've got Ben Hunt in the halves, sure, but he's kind of the controller. He's the director. He's not. He's not going to run down people or run away from too many people. Since that famous Origin try now, I think Reece Walsh is the spark that is going to get the Broncos towards the back end of this year. Dolphins, Newcastle, Cowboys, three really good ones, and honestly, I'm pretty decent chance Melbourne's rests a few players. Maybe not the whole team, but they've already got a couple of injuries, and I think, well, Broncos are not locked in for any particular ladder position yet, and I think that they will be looking to put on some scores in these few matches. So I really like Reece Walsh. His floor is yuck, but his attack is monstrous. The other one, Tommy Turbo. He's back at fullback. He's back. We love him. His draw is fantastic. Again, it's just something that you've got to decide. Are you willing to take the punt? Yeah, it's only a month, so hopefully he can stay fit. And he's been fit for a little while now, and it's looked like he can actually finally sort of do turbo things at almost his full potential. Against the Roosters was a little bit quieter. He had a really hot start and then kind of didn't do a lot after that. But he has been very involved in this attack, playing kind of a fullback hybrid role, even though he's been named at centre. And now that he's back at fullback, well, those early numbers look a bit yuck. But part of that is also because he just was not fully fit. He was not looking like Tom Trbojevic. So with this run home, I think he is another one that is really, really heady to pick up. I did not realize how highly owned he was actually in these top guys. Nearly 3/4 of people have him in the decently high ranks. That is kind of mental. I did not realize that so many people had picked him up. But there you go. Yeah, he was a lot cheaper, but I still think he's at a price where you can look to bring him in potentially with that run home. And now back fully at fullback. Kai Pearce-Paul, he's trucking along. He's just doing well. I don't think many people need edges. I think it's mostly middles, maybe centres. And if you want to back up half, you've got a couple of options. So you've got Munster with no shoes. You've got Adam Dewey, who also has the added benefit of centre. Jewel, Galvin as well. I don't think I can recommend any more, but there's not. Look, to be honest, the videos aren't super long and super complicated because nobody's got any trades left. If you have more than four, you can afford to make some mental moves. But for a lot of people, including myself, all those theoretical things that I just listed, I'm probably not going to do any or many of them. Probably one trade tops, probably like Yo to Adam Dewey or something. That would probably be pretty handy. But round 27, if we look at the NRL ladder 2025, why is it 2024? If we look at this ladder now, look at this monster gap. We've got the Doggies level with the Storm on points, but I probably don't think they'll make top two. This will be the tough one. If there's any doubt as to whether they make top two or not, it could be a factor. But also, from the look of it, they're just going to straight up play each other. But the Raiders have won two more. They've got a bye left. Raiders look locked in for the premiership. Panthers, at this point, look, they have three really tough matchups now. They play Dogs, Storm, Raiders, I think, or was Warriors one of them? Cool. Let's look at Nathan Cleary. So they play they play the top three teams in a row, and then the Dragons to finish off the year, where they may be resting people. So if they win two of those three, I would easily say they're in over the Warriors and everybody else chasing. These teams really dropped the ball. They missed a trick. Broncos going down to the Eels, Sharks going down to the Dragons. There was opportunity for them to keep up with the Warriors and Panthers, and now it just looks so difficult for anybody except the Panthers to be in that top four spot unless they blunder uh, more than one match out of these upcoming three, which honestly I don't think they will. I don't think they will. They look ready to go, and honestly, they've moved into probably second outright favourite for me to win the comp. And I guess the odds probably also show that it's hard to really comprehend that the Panthers may be winning a fifth comp in a row, considering how they were going 2 months ago. But it's the Panthers system. They have built this team through the course of this year to absolutely be firing at the right time. So, in my opinion, I think if you need a trade this week for half and a backline guy, I think Adam Dewey is probably your go. He'll be quite a handy point of difference as well. With low trades, not tons of people are going to get on these low ownership players and turn them into high ownership players. Um, so even though he'll be pretty popular out of the guys who are being bought, he won't be like monstrously owned. I think he's good. Tino is probably the last one that I want to talk about before I switch to Supercoach. Tino, he's supposed to be back this week and he's been named, but it is still not 100 million% confident that he actually plays. If he plays, he's pretty handy. But do you want somebody coming back off a quad, calf? Either way, a soft tissue injury which has a pretty high re-injury rate in a game that it's 50-50 for him to actually play. Are you expecting heaps of points from this week compared to some of these guys? I don't know. But I mean, you see the Titans also putting Keeney back into the squad. You put Keeney into Cup last week. You put him in the 18 jersey this week. They're just bringing back players for some reason that maybe don't need to be rushed in there, and so maybe they do belt Tino to just try and avoid the spoon now, because losing against the Rabbitohs really puts the shadow of the wooden spoon directly over their heads. All right, captains this week. This week is actually a little rough for captains, I guess, because there's some really nice matchups that aren't Nathan Cleary. Oh, there's a couple of interesting matchups that aren't Nathan Cleary. Nathan Cleary plays the Storm on Thursday night, whether you believe in the Thursday night captain curse or not. It's also the Storm. No Pappenhausen and no Hughes, but still, it's not historically brilliant. So he's a strong option still because he's Nathan Cleary. But I think this is a decent week to go for a Terrell May or a half back to the front row forwards. Even though it is the back end of the year, they've had a little bit of time off. Haas just whacked out in 83. Terrell May's just had a bye. I think you can really confidently go one of these two over Nathan Cleary this week, considering that they are playing the Storm. Who else? Is there any third potential option you can look to target? If you're Nico Hines and you're really brave, you could potentially captain him versus the Titans, but he's a little bit like Reece Walsh. He needs a lot of attack to go big these days, unfortunately. And Tommy Turbo versus Tigers. I'm running out of options here, so I think that's about it for the options there. Back to the big three. Return to the forwards, maybe. Who will I captain? Maybe I'll just put it back on Payne Haas. I haven't had it on Payne Haas for a while. It's been a good one. Maybe you can bash through against the Dolphins, and go over the line. We'll see that. All right, Supercoach now. I am basically the definition of par these days. It's pretty funny. Um, yeah, I'm really high ranked, and I'm absolutely stoked at that. But since I've got up there, I've been pretty super conservative. Like I've been following the pack very heavily, except for maybe like a Blaze Talangi or something. And he's been pretty average as well. Bad for 3 weeks, great for 2 weeks, so averages out. I've moved basically 100 ranks in 10 weeks and 15 change, 0, 6 ranks, decent jump, 1 rank, decent jump, 20 ranks, less than 15, 3 ranks. Like, if you want to know a par score, just probably check what Scoop scored in Supercoach this week. Yeah, I mean, we're also losing money at a great rate. Doesn't really matter at this point of year because we kind of all own those guns. They're all losing that cash that they made. Teddy's cheap, Drinky's cheap, Nala's cheap, Nico's relatively cheap. Connor Watson's coming down, Katoa's coming down, May and Haas are coming. Like everybody who's probably still the top options have fallen away in the past few weeks. There's not been a ton of guys who've been going absolutely insane and pushing their price up there. Brayley's kind of finished that, coming down. Edwards is about to finish it and start coming down heavily. It's not many left that are actually going up a fair bit. Cameron Munster, I'd say, is one. If you don't have Munster, I really still do like him as a playable, fantastic option each week. Even though against the Panthers this week, he just has a big role in the Melbourne team with no Hughes and no Pappenhausen this week. This could be a week that you are very pleased to own Harry Grant because Watson has been pretty rubbish lately for fantasy and Supercoach, given that he is not playing the full game. And yeah, 47 last week with a try assist, I think it was. Yuck. I'm also missing Hudson Young on the bye. Isaiah Yeo is still injured. So either I have to run 2 hookers who kind of aren't really hookers in my second row or buy somebody. And with 3 trades left, I don't know whether it's worth bringing in a non-high ceiling guy at second row. I could potentially go Yo to Tino, but what if Tino doesn't play? What do I do then? I can't move centre wing down because Bradley's out second row. I can't really move flex out. Like it's a pretty limited trade set that I can make. So I might just have to play that like that and look for that big ceiling guy that can compensate for a loss of say 50 points of those 2 this week. On that note, in Supercoach, your best position is fullback. I just talked about Reece Walsh and I just talked about Tom Trbojevic. They're kind of the big guys this week. This is a week when not a lot of people are making big trades. If you look at the top 1%, I don't know what the average trades left is. There's no another fantasy stat site equivalent, but the favorite is definitely Turbo. And Turbo now back at fullback against the Tigers got this run. He's historically one of the best super coach players ever. And yeah, if he goes big, he could be last year's Telltale Caller, who went ridiculous the last couple of weeks of that season. Tommy Turbo could be that guy. The other guy who it could also be is Reece Walsh. We just went 130 versus the Rabbits. Yeah, he had a down game last week, but I mean, what do you expect versus the Melbourne Storm, eh? That was who we played, right? I'm not imagining things. Yeah, of course. Melbourne Storm. He played the Melbourne Storm, and Broncos had injuries mid-game. What do you expect? But as a result of that, they regroup. He gets goals. He gets attack. They play easy teams. What more do you want? Like, him and Turbo could be fantastic options if you are brave enough to sell Scott Drinkwater. Or even, to be brutally honest, Dylan Edwards. Because Dylan Edwards does take a massive backward step with clearing the team. It's taken him 2 tries and 2 try assists to have about an 80 average over these last few weeks, and now he plays the top 3 teams in the comp. I mean, he's going to base things to death like he always does. He runs more than pretty much anyone in the comp, but will he get all these other involvements? I don't know whether he will. And at that price, you can use him to do anything. You can bank cash. If you've already used up your Herbie Farnworth money, you can use Dylan Edwards to get a Travojevic or a Walsh, save cash, and then turn whoever you need into the best player when injury does strike. That's probably something for only if you've got maybe 5 trades left, 4 or 5 trades at least. I don't think I can justify doing that myself. Um, it's really hard. I've got 3 trades. Do I hold them for round 27, given that Supercoach has a bigger squad than Fantasy? I can probably get 18 players or close to 18 players a lot easier in Fantasy in Supercoach than I can get to playing 17 players in Fantasy. It is a big question. Let's have a look at what might happen in round 27. So if we assume the worst case scenario, Panthers rest, Storm rest, Raiders rest, and we've still got long-term injuries. So we'll have no Edwards, maybe even Bulldogs rest, who knows? Let's just say I have Kiraz to be just a little bit more optimistic. So no Edwards, no Talangi, no Munster, no Cleary, no Katoa, no Young. That's probably more than I thought, eh? Is it worth doing it now, though, for guys who I know are going to be missing in round 27 or strongly suspect are going to be missing in round 27? Or do I leave it? Do I let myself slide a few ranks this week unless I can pick a good captain and just recover next week, use my good depth, continue on, and then smash round 27 out of the park? Or do I try and get those points now in the meantime? Honestly, that's going to be my biggest decision this week. I've got no idea what I should do, to be honest, because trading out Isaiah Yo based on the extra news seems like a pretty decent plan, but I don't want anybody except Tino, and Tino might not even play. So, bit stuck between a rock and a hard place. What's the game order look like? Titans play there. The Cowboys play late, and the Panthers play first. So I can't make a Dylan Edwards decision. I might be able to make a Scott Drinkwater decision, but I mean, Scott Drinkwater's draw is also pretty good. I did pick up on something from, I think it was Matt from the Baller podcast. Fantastic group of lads. They've got some brilliant tools. The Baller website. I think they're sort of looking to turn it into the Supercoach version of footy statistics and then expand upon that even further, um, even across multiple platforms, multiple sports. So that'll be fantastic. But Matt said that he's really worried about, is there something actually wrong with Drinkwater? Why has he lost the goals? Why is he not dominating against these teams that he should potentially be doing really well at? Why has he not done anything the last 2 weeks against the Eels, man? Why? What's going on? Is there a niggle that we're not being told about? He's lost goals. He's lost points. Is it a good idea to move him on, even though they have these juicy matchups potentially? And then a buy round 27. Honestly, it's not a bad play in my opinion. And there's a reason why he's the highest trade out amongst most teams. And just about equal most out of the others in my team. So the trades this week look to be fullback or nothing. And then Isaiah Yo if you're really desperate. But as we can see from the strategy, what's the point of bringing in a second rower that's going to maybe get you 15 more points compared to a fullback that can sometimes score you 189 points? Unfortunately for me, I did not vice captain or captain Teddy. I went for Campbell, and that would have been nice. Didn't hurt me too much, but it would have been nice. Absolutely crushed me up the ranks. Hey, let's finish off with this. Let's finish off with these leagues because at the moment there's actually do one or two players. It's Reece Walsh and it's um, Tommy Turbo season. Why is it doing this? It's Reece Walsh and Tommy Turbo season pretty much, and you just pick one of them if you really want to, and you've got a couple of trades. Or pod options, there's actually not that many interesting ones this week. So it's mostly strategy-wise, who do you need? I think Cameron Munster is still a good buy. Not that many people are looking to get him in still. And there's still a decent chunk of people that don't own. Nala's cheaper now. People are sort of deciding to bring him in now. You might want to do that. Harry Grant is a good option to bring in as well. Though Fermor, if you really need a centre wing or something or like that. But really, these are all very low changes compared to usual. Gagai was 50% last week in the top 1%. I mean, look at the bloke. The bloke is now over 50% owned and he's bombed. Everybody was happy with the role and he's now basically nobody wants him. He's playable, but bleh. Tom Turbo, Reece Walsh, probably the guys. Got people like Turbo a lot more. Hey, that's crazy. Where is Walsh? I think I know what's happening. This round change, I think, is also affected by the teams that actually move into the top 1% compared to last week. So I think Reece Walsh is actually pretty decently bought, even though this round change is supposedly not that crazy. Traded in. How many trades in for Reece Walsh? Yeah, because that does make sense to me. A lot of people have been sort of talking up. Yeah, a few people have been talking up Walsh, and for people to be selling him more than buying him does not make sense to me. Turbo, maybe I guess you can say is the favorite out of the two, but still, man, really? Maybe Walsh is the pod you need. But yeah, it's kind of those guys. Let's finish off with some leagues. I, unfortunately, because I'm in some really nice, strong leagues, butchered a couple of matchups last week, a few Teddy captains, 1 point in Podmasters seeded 3, and only about 18 in that one. Shout out to Ham from the Echo Chamber podcast. Didn't do ranks this week, didn't look at them in the fantasy stuff. I'm kind of middle of the road at the moment. Jay-Z is gunning for the title. I think he's 9th now. Cheer him on. He's with Casual Athlete. He's with the Echo Chamber boys as well. Yeah, look at this. This is the one I wanted to show. Supercoach Hub Legends. This bloke killed me. He has been an absolute legend all year. He played Noah, played To'o, had Cleary, VC Luke Teddy, and he's winning. He is first overall. I got clobbered by him. I've been stoked to play him throughout this year, given how good he is. But I might bomb out of this league despite being top 100. I might bomb out straight sets because I played first overall. And then I got 10th overall that I'm up against this week. So we will see how that goes. Hopefully I can snag a win. In the private group too, it's tightened back up again. It's really just a 2-horse race at this point for the overall championship. Papa Dog's still out in front though. I don't know how many trades he's got. What's his team looking like? He's got Kickow, he's got Tarpanay, he's got Primson. Primson's nice, but watch out for Keeney. He also has Naff White like me. Savala, still got Savala. Phil Blake, Tino. He's still got Herbie, and he's still got Tino, and he's still got Savala. Is he out of trades? Am I about to pass him back again? Oh, that'd be devastating. Hey, I wish him the best in this run home. Hopefully, he can make a really good fight out of it because it's been really entertaining the last 6 or so weeks. Him and I are just really pushing for this top rank in this private group. There's still some really good players in here. Jamie is 9th. I think he had a bit of a rougher week, slid down a little bit. But still doing well, having a good year. And yeah, in the Podcasters League, I'm still third. I think that's just my permanent spot at the moment. It's quite funny. But I will need to watch out this week so that I don't drop because, yeah, I'm not loving my second rowers, not loving them at all. Yeah. All right. So there's a little bit of a gap, but still, how the heck do I catch these guys? 10th, 27th, 67th. Yeah, that's Matt. That's Matt, who I was talking about from Ballers. Ballers are doing really well this year. Love them. If you like Supercoach, Jamie's got some good stuff. Baller has some fantastic stuff as well. And of course, the NRL Supercoach hubs, who I sometimes do pod videos for. Not the last few weeks because my audio's been cooked for some reason on the StreamYard website, but I will record with OBS for these. So I'll finish up with that, guys. I'm just rambling now. If you like having Scoop talk in the background, uh, all good. If you're still here, talk to me about what your trade plans are this week and if you're doing something with Isaiah Yo. Otherwise, well done for making it this far in the season and hope for the best for you guys with this last month of pushing for the end of the year.